Hello, welcome Solex Nation. You know, before we get started with this call, we have a little disclaimer. We have some construction happening in the office, and it's been going on for a while, but we are at the tail end of it. But it just so happens that they're working in this room right here. So
we're going to push on through.
Sorry.
We're just going to keep things coming.
Sorry if you hear sanding and
I think we need like a disclaimer for every call. It may not have to do with any construction, but it's got to do with something that we're going to do or do wrong or whatever
it happens.
Might be.
That's why we have bloopers.
Well, yes.
So today we have a couple of announcements. The first one is we have an AO Scan features guide that you probably are familiar with. It talks about just a basic overview of inner voice and vitals, comprehensive, and Cephi. Well, we have added to that features page to include body systems, easy scan, and quick scan. We're excited about that. So that is in your back office. You want to tell them where that is?
Yeah, you're just going to go to that left column. You know, there's a bunch of links over there. If you're going to go to tools and then to business resources, and that's how
Documents and media.
Documents and media and then business resources.
So tools, documents and media, and it's under business resources.
Correct, yeah.
Yes. Hey, should we talk to them about June?
June. Okay, if you haven't heard, if you've been on these calls, you have heard. But if you're new to these calls, we're having a legacy event for those that own a Solex Silver coin. We're going to do just a special couple-hour event.
It's virtual.
June 10th. It'll be available that weekend. And so we always have some fun announcements, and we've planned some specific ones for this event. So if you're part of that legacy group, you'll
hear some things first.
Yeah, you'll be in the know from the outset. And
you also will hear from some of our educators. So we're looking forward to that event. We also have, we love these so much. We have a license plate this week.
A great license plate.
This is Vickie Isaac. And now this is a Utah plate.
Yeah.
You have to get creative in Utah because, as you know, Kai has a Solex plate, Loran has an AO Scan plate.
Yep.
So this is pretty creative. AO1 Scan.
Yes, good, Vickie. I'm disappointed that you left out Solex.
Thank you for sending that in, and welcome to the Legacy Group. Do you have a coin now?
Yeah, we'll send that right out.
Yeah.
Come to the event, June 10th.
Okay, we have some top enrollers this week.
Yes, for the week of April 18th through the 24th.
Yes.
And finally, we're back to the norm.
We have a tie for second place.
Okay, tie for second place. Michael Weber, congratulations. You tie with
Rebecca McQuilty.
Yes,
Congrats.
Congratulations. Well done. Way to work hard. You're well on your way to that trip.
Yes.
If you keep working with these folks, keep them active. July 31st, we have a big giveaway for the person with the top 3 people with the most active QLAs on their front line.
On their direct line,
yep.
Yes.
You and a guest, flight, hotel, 2 days.
And not just any hotel, Disneyland Hotel
yes.
in the park. Okay, we're leaving them in suspense with who our number 1 is.
Oh, yes.
Now let me tell you, both of those number 2s, you signed up 2 people. Number 1 signed up 3 people.
Yes, in 1 week.
In 1 week. And this person signed up 2 people last week.
Yeah.
So first place goes to BMR International.
Congratulations. Great job. They are working hard.
5 new signups in 2 weeks is amazing. Yeah, Great job. All right, now before we get on with the rest of the call, we did have a contest last week.
Yes, we invited you to say what you love about these calls and then tell us what you want more of. What would help you in spending a few minutes of your Wednesday or whatever evening you're using this call for to tell us where we can provide more value to you. And so
we appreciate that feedback.
Yep.
And so we enjoyed reading those, and we're taking you up on a lot of it. But
in typical fashion, we're doing 3 giveaways.
And we're giving away Ionix Gold.
Ionix Gold,
yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
All right. Well, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First one. Blue Dream Love and Wellness. I absolutely
We're going to need your name.
Yes, please send us your name.
In order to make sure, unless your
Blue
QLA
Dream Love
account.
and Wellness is on their account.
Yes, unless we can find it. But Blue Dream Love and Wellness, please just give us a call.
Yeah.
Let us know who you are.
I absolutely love each segment of these wonderful calls. I learn each week, and I love how you connect with each other. Love how you bring us such blessings each week. You are all rock stars. Thank you kindly. Aww.
Oh, I like that.
That was nice.
That was love and wellness right there. Thank you. All right, second winner. of Ionix Gold is Gene Schoenecker. I hope I said that right, Gene. Gene Schoenecker. Love the calls for the regular updates. I'd love to dig more intimately into the reporting and how they all relate to healing in general. There is so much to learn for non-medical people. How to simplify it so we can share the info intelligently and connect the dots for ourselves and others. I love that she uses the connect the dots phrase, a phrase that Deb Bruce has coined, I think, so perfectly.
Yeah.
For frequencies and all of the information that you can get from the scanner.
That's
Gene,
a great
this
suggestion.
is wonderful. Great. Yep. We heard this, and we heard so many people request that.
Yes, it's
right?
true.
Okay, last one.
All right, last
Gene, Onyx Gold coming to you.
All right, last one. Let's see. Bhavani Indu. I really like your regular updates. They are always so informative, and your personalities are light, jovial, and sincere. And watching you all grow and develop, it's so beautiful to watch and learn. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
that was just like full
that
of
was
gratitude
nice,
right there.
I know. Well, we will send you some, all three of you, some Ionix Gold. Thank you for those suggestions. And even though the contest is done, we would still love to see suggestions come in. So you can go to our last week's call on our YouTube page and send in whatever suggestions you would like for these weekly updates.
Yeah, that's great.
So should we get on with the call and get into our
Let's do it.
our education?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm back again to talk to you about the microbiome. And for those of you that might be new and don't know me, I'm Dr. Pat Tucker, one of the MDs around here that helps do a little bit of training. And I'm trying to help you learn more about the body so that you'll better be able to use your scanner. So let's dig back in to the microbiome. So how does your microbiome protect you from not getting sick? Your microbiome, if there's a good population, a varied, diverse population of bacteria in your gut, your microbiome protects you from the bad things that get into your gut from getting through the gut wall and into your body, into your bloodstream. All right, so let's get back into the microbiome. You remember last week how I told you that the microbiome was like an organ? The microbiome has a specific set of functions. It creates for your body B12, serotonin. It creates all kind of different chemicals that your body uses to stay healthy. So how do we keep our microbiome healthy? Well, first, you don't damage it. And by damaging it, you can take antibiotics. That's going to do some damage. Sometimes we have to have it. That's okay. Let's heal it when we damage it. So we can take prebiotics. Prebiotics are not probiotics. Prebiotics are the food that we feed the good bacteria. And that's typically high in fiber. And we use food for that many times. You can buy it in a bottle, but frequently we just like to use food. For probiotics, we want a varied assortment of different good bacteria that do particular things for your body. So let's talk about a couple of things that different bacteria do. So the Firmicutes strain of bacteria love fiber and they break down fiber. But if you are heavy, if your microbiome is heavy into Firmicutes, it doesn't create much butyrate. Butyrate is the chemical that helps your gut lining create mucus. So if you have a thick mucus layer inside your gut from the good bacteria, specifically Bacteroides, but there are several that create butyrate, then that protects your gut. That mucus layer protects your gut from different things, food particles, bacteria, the cell wall of bacteria from getting into your bloodstream through that single layer of cells that is your gut lining. by blocking that, you stop things like food allergens. You stop a lot of the inflammation that happens when those different things, the bacterial cell walls and the food particles like gluten and gliadin, which is a protein in gluten, get through that cell wall. When that happens, when those things cross over, your body knows that they're foreign. And your body immediately starts cranking up the immune system to fight that foreigner coming across its border. Well, when it does that, that inflammation spreads throughout your entire body. And it affects everything. It causes insulin resistance. It causes diabetes. It causes weight gain. It causes depression. It causes Alzheimer's disease. And there are probably about 195 other things it causes that I just don't have time to mention. But it's all bad. That process is called leaky gut. Your gut leaks because it doesn't have a healthy gut wall, a healthy microbiome to protect it. When we protect our gut by taking a vast array of different bacteria and we feed those good bacteria, we develop a healthy microbiome that does everything we need to do to keep us healthy and even revert back some of those diseases and inflammatory processes that our body started to see. All right, so let's talk about some other things that we can do to heal that unhealthy microbiome. Drink lots of water. That clears out all kind of things. You can eat fermented foods, kimchi, kombucha. There's a lot of different fermented things that are very good for you. It gives you that good bacteria and a vast array of good bacteria to help build that up. You're not going to like this, but you need to stay away from processed foods. That's most fast foods, unfortunately. You need to stay away from sugars. One of the reasons that you need to stay away from sugars is sugars feed the bad bacteria, just like processed foods feed the bad bacteria. And when that happens, when you stop feeding the good bacteria and you're feeding the bad bacteria, the good bacteria die off and they leave. And then you're stuck with the bad bacteria. And if you only have bad bacteria, then you're not making B12, and you're not making serotonin, and you're not making all those good things that your body needs to stay healthy. Last week, I mentioned fructose. So many of you know that fructose is the sugar in fruit. So I'm not by any means telling you to stop eating fruit. But if you eat fructose in soft drinks, other things that are sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, if you eat fructose in table sugar, and unfortunately, whether you do that the honey route or whatever you do, you're still getting fructose. So that fructose causes inflammation in your gut more than anything else. That fructose changes the types of bacteria that you have in your gut. It causes the Firmicutes bacteria to grow and the good bacteria to settle, the Bacteroides. You get out of balance, and then you stop creating the butyrate that creates the mucus layer. And when the mucus layer goes away, you don't have any protection for your gut. The fructose also opens the tight junctions. Those are the channels where the cells butt together. That's the junction where the cells butt together that lead into the inside of your body. And those tight junctions begin to get leaky. They spread apart. And you start getting particles of gluten in particular. There's a protein called gliadin in in gluten. Gluten is the protein in bread. That gluten and gliadin cross that leaky gut and immediately cause an inflammatory reaction. The fructose causes the lipopolysaccharide layers of your gram-negative bacteria to come across that leaky gut, that tight junction, and it causes real serious inflammation in your gut. And the fructose causes a serious rise in that lipopolysaccharide or LPS level in your blood. That inflammation affects every part of your body. It leads to insulin resistance, arthritis, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, brain disease, whether dementia, Alzheimer's disease, brain fog, all those different things that damage your body. So what we need to do to get our gut healthy is stop eating the things that we know are unhealthy. Gluten is one of them. The other one is sugars. And unfortunately, it's pretty much all sugars. So fructose is the real culprit. I'm not telling you to stop eating fruit. I am telling you to stop drinking fruit juice and concentrated high fructose corn syrup drinks. That's really unhealthy for you, and it's leading to a lot of your medical problems. Even if you're healthy now, you won't be healthy for long if you continue to do that. If you eat fruit, which fruit is healthy for you, if you eat a big bowl of fruit at one sitting, you're going to get all the negative effects. If you eat small amounts of fruit, an apple, an orange at a time, the fiber and the other things inside that fruit are going to balance the fructose level that you're getting from that fruit, and you're not going to see the bump in the inflammation. So, just like the Bible says, everything in moderation except for high fructose corn syrup.
Inner voice is an amazing part of the AO scan and amazing the information it gives us, but sometimes it can get a little confusing. And we've talked about this in the past where the chart doesn't completely make sense. And so let me go over the chart again and help you understand the numbers so that it's not so confusing. The top numbers going across the top of your graph, those are showing you the amplitude of that particular note. So a 3.3 or a 7.9 or a 10 or that's just basically the volume of that particular note, which is comprised of almost 100 frequencies combined, and then that total combined amplitude reaches this number. There is no right or wrong number. It doesn't matter if it's a 5 or a 7 or a 3. It's going to vary with everybody's voice. My voice is different from Kai's. When Kai talks, his volume, his numbers are higher across the board than mine are because the volume, the amplitude of his voice is higher. So it doesn't matter. We're just looking at those numbers to see the 3 that are at the highest level and the one that it's at the lowest. And let me just interject here. We're doing some construction here at the office. Have been for it seems like forever, but it's almost finished. So sometimes you'll hear a little noise. Hopefully you'll just kind of ignore that as we go on. Okay, with that said though, so the numbers on the top are just the amplitude of each note. Okay. Now, whether your bars are really high or your bars are really low, again, it doesn't matter. Your voice, your amplitude is going to determine how high those are. So the numbers along the top, it's real easy to see, okay, if there's the highest number up there is an 8.2, that means that's your highest frequency high out of range. And if there's one that's like a 2.2, well, and that's your lowest number, that's your lowest. So it's really easy to see how the system came up with your 4 notes, your 3 high and your 1 low. That's all those numbers mean. And it's really not important to try to understand anything other than here are my highest ones, here's my lowest numbers. Okay, so I hope that helps. The graph is just there to show you where your voice is loudest or your tones are loudest. What is important in your inner voice is to look at how it affects the emotions. And when you're doing an inner voice, if you've got a few extra minutes, do the inner voice that has the little heart symbol, because that's doing a scan as well as your inner voice. And that's going to give you the little report that shows you how your emotions that are out of range are affecting you physically, emotionally, nutritionally, etc. And it will give you some recommended causes. So that's the best. If you do just the voice itself, just the microphone itself, then all it's going to do is give you your tones that you should listen to. Now, it's important, your tones are really important that you listen to with headphones. Not your bone conductor, but actual headphones or earbuds. Because the information coming through there, even though the music is the same, in a lot of them, you're going to hear the same music over and over. But what's behind the music is different every single time you do your scan. That information in your right ear and your left ear is different. And if you're using it in speakers, you will lose that definition, that frequency that the brain needs to resonate with. Okay? So that's important that you always listen to them, but always listen to them with either earbuds or headphones. So if you have the extra few minutes, do it with both a 10-second scan with your bone conductor, and then listen to your tones with your headphones. Okay, so that's the most important thing. And when you look at your reports, that'll kind of give you some guidance of how your emotions are affecting you at that moment in time. Now, inner voice is important, and it's something you should do throughout the day. If you're having a stressful day, take 10 minutes and do your inner voice again. You'll be surprised at how well your body will respond to those frequencies. I do it every morning. Now, it's part of my routine of getting ready in the morning. Some days I'll do it sometime during the day, and on almost every evening I'll do it before I go to bed. Not always, but most. So, inner voice, again, you've heard me say this in the past, inner voice is what prompted us to make a mobile scanner. We felt that was so important that if all we could do is give people the ability to monitor their emotions, their health, their well-being, and the way that they maneuver through the challenges of life would be better. Obviously, it's become much more than just inner voice. Now, along those notes, somebody sent in a question that was a good question, and somebody's paying attention. We love this, absolutely love this. This individual said, when I did my inner voice, it came up and said that meat was something I needed to avoid. But when I did my vitals, the meat came up as a 5, which means that it was in its balance. How can that happen? Really simple. Your inner voice is looking only at your emotional well-being at that moment, just your emotions. Vitals is looking at your chemistry, only the chemistry. Completely doesn't care about the emotion or the physical. Your comprehensive is looking only at the physical. Okay, so back to the question. The inner voice came up and said avoid meat. Vitals came up and said meat was okay. If you go into your comprehensive scan and let's say that you just did your inner voice. So when you open up that comprehensive, you have the options. You have inner voice, vitals, or combined. And if all you did was your voice, in this case, I would strongly suggest, because the meat came up, but did not come up in your vitals, then just select the inner voice. When you go to do the scan, it's going to show you how those emotions, in particularly the meat portion, is affecting you physically. Okay? Does that help make some sense? It may not be affecting you in your chemistry, but it might be having some type of an effect, maybe in the liver or in the pancreas or something, that it just didn't really have much of a bearing on the chemistry. It's so important that we start to look at our report in its entirety. Everything is connected. Why wouldn't the meat not show up in vitals but show up in your inner voice? Because it's having more of an effect on you emotionally, and it's affecting this part of your body physically. So that's how you can see, when you see things like that appears to be an anomaly, dig a little deeper. Jump in and do your comprehensive. Just do the vitals or the inner voice portion and see how that's affecting you, and it will start to make more sense. Not always is your chemistry going to be out of whack when your emotions are, and it's not always going to affect the same part of the body. You've got an amazing tool here with inner voice. Use it, learn it, understand it, and follow it. Okay, another question that has come up, and this is a really good question, and it's come up multiple times. Why in the world do bedbugs and lice come up on my scan so often? I wash my beds, I wash my hair, I do all of the things. I don't have any bedbugs and I don't have any lice, so why does it come up on the report? Good question. Everything around us is in a state of vibration. If you've ever been in a motel, if you've ever been at a neighbor's house, or if you've ever slept outside, you've gone camping, you've probably been in the presence of these types of issues, bedbugs or lice. And those frequencies, even though they may not be in the bed anymore or in your hair anymore, those frequencies can still have a residual effect, and the scanner can sometimes pick that up. And it's not meaning that it's there present, but it was there. What you want to do when you see things like that, scan for a couple days. If they continue to be there, then we want to look a little deeper. But in most cases, those things will just disappear, and the scan will realize this is an old thing. It's a cellular memory. It's not there now, number one. Number two, it could be that there's something else, either in your hair or in your bed or in the couch, that we don't have cataloged in our database that has a frequency similar to, and so the algorithm will select this as the closest thing. Again, scan it over a few times. Most of those times you'll find that it will just fade away because it was more of a cellular memory and not a physical thing. So don't freak out about those types of things. When you see lots of reds, lots of 9s and lots of 1s, again, not things that you need to worry about on a daily basis. Look at your scan, compare your scans. If they're consistent, then you want to pay attention. Maybe even go see a healthcare practitioner to help you maneuver through that. Okay, now I want to talk about something that has nothing to do with the scanner at all, but everything to do with us as a company and you as our family. This last month, we introduced a contest that allowed 3 qualifying people and a friend to go to Disneyland. Now, we at Solex have nothing to do with Disneyland or Disney World or the Disney Corporation. We don't have anything to do with any political party or any religious affiliation or with any other group. But some of you were concerned and even a little offended that we would offer a gift like that. And the comment I want to make about this is, well, it's multifaceted, so let me just start with one. I've been going to Disneyland since I was a child, and that seems like 100 years ago. It wasn't quite that long, but it seems like it. I haven't been in 20 years, but this last month, my daughter, Lisa, was coming up on her 38th birthday. Now, she's Downs, and so we wanted to take her somewhere that would be fun and she had a ball. Now, I know the controversy that's out there about Disneyland and Disney World and all the nonsense that's going around about that. But what concerns me more than any of that is the culture that we are dipping into. And I say dipping because I think it's going down. I think we're going downhill with this. This culture of canceling something or someone that we don't agree with. I've been to all sorts of amusement parks, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags, Hershey's Park in Pennsylvania, all these different parks, and they're fun. But for my daughter, Disneyland was the right choice. It was an experience that she thoroughly enjoyed, and I enjoyed because of her enjoyment. We're not trying to make a political statement. We're not trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But I want you to think about this for a second. With this idea of just canceling something that we disagree with, if we were to cancel Disneyland, the Disney Corporation, more than 195,000 people would lose their jobs. Now, can you tell me how that benefits anybody? Now, I agree there are some bad apples in that corporation. I think there's bad apples in other businesses. I think there's bad apples in different churches. I think there's bad apples in almost everything. Do we cancel everything? Do we throw, as the old phrase goes, do we throw the baby out with the bathwater? And the answer should be no. We deal with those who are causing the problem instead of throwing away everything else and everything that's good that it represents. We can stop buying their merchandise. We can stop buying their movies. But do we need to go to the extreme? Now, if one of you earns this prize to Disneyland and you opt not to go, and I respect that, we all do, there's a cash option for you. But it's not something that we're promoting it because we have any affiliation with. We just thought it would be a lot of fun. So the same thing with people saying only buy American. And yes, we should. We should buy American whenever possible. Support ourselves. Support mom and pops. But if we were to boycott everything made in China, there wouldn't be very many things left on the grocery stores, and you definitely wouldn't be able to go to Walmart. So why don't we, instead of canceling things that we disagree with or people we disagree with, why don't we go back to what we've always said, and that's changing the world one frequency at a time. Let's try to elevate people rather than put them down. Let's try to live a lifestyle that people would want to emulate, and let these problems resolve themselves. As we strive to elevate others, we will, by nature, push the darkness out of the way. Darkness can't exist in light, and as long as our light is shining, no matter where we go, that light will continue to shine, and we'll be able to touch lives in ways that we would never have known how to do. So with that, from all of us at Solex, thank you so much for being a part of our family, trusting in us, helping us grow. And let's, as a community, let's elevate everyone around us. And so until next week, see you then.
You know what? I learned a lot this week about inner voice and just really solidified the connectivity of our emotions to all the areas of our body. Dr. Tucker did a great job teaching us about, just the gut health but how connected we are when we feel something. It really does affect us everywhere.
And it's apparent in everything that we do and say.
Yeah,
so it's
really
amazing.
Not to make this too somber.
No, heavens no. So Kai, what are we going to give away today?
Okay, so on that topic of emotions, and everybody always wants to feel some sort of calm,
Yep.
some sort of peace in life. There's chaos everywhere, and certainly in today's world, there's wars, there's so much going on that we don't have control in, and often our emotions get a little bit out of, whether it's on a very personal level or a massive worldwide level, it can affect us emotionally. And so this is what I maybe too much of a somber tone, but I think it would be beneficial if our community, our little Solex community, on this call wrote down what is it you do or what could you do to promote peace and calm, not just for you, but actually let's turn it a little bit and let's talk about promoting peace and calmness for the people around you. What do you do to make that more relevant, not just for this community, but for everybody in this community who you touch? All of the periphery of the people involved in your lives. If we can have these ideas, I think this would be great.
You know, and we've said it all along. We're out. Our whole mission is to change the world one frequency at a time.
Yes.
So what are we doing in that vein to change that?
Yes, and I think that this group is so good at coming up with ideas and sharing, and we can take action based on what we learn from each other. So the white jade bracelet gives, it symbolizes, one of its benefits and symbolization is calmness and peace.
That's right.
Let's give away, of course,
Three
to three of the people that comment on this call. If you're listening on one of our channels where you're getting the podcast, come back to the YouTube channel. Make sure you share.
Yep.
And share. And we're inviting you to share, not just for the contest, but just to overall help all of us
Make a difference.
make a difference.
Yep.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. Here we go.
Woo! We're official. See how official that is?
Is that better? Okay.
I can hear it like just a little bit. It's just
You know, before we get Loran, turn off your phone.
surprise. Oh, sorry.
On his desk, then maybe they can't tell. Thank you.
Hey, what were these?
Well, the secret's out now.
Funny thing is, Shelby